Hello and welcome back to my channel Dinar and Dong Updates, IQD and VND Revaluation. Are we on the brink of a financial turning point? For years, the global currency community has kept a close eye on the Iraqi Dinar, IQD, and the Vietnamese Dong, VND, two currencies many believe are significantly undervalued. From seasoned investors to newcomers entering the speculative currency market, the hope of a large-scale revaluation, or RV, has remained a compelling narrative. Now, a wave of recent developments and insider discussions is breathing new life into those long-held expectations. Today's report explores these exciting new updates, including alleged preparations by major U.S. banks, evolving economic trends in Iraq and Vietnam, expert analysis from notable figures in the currency community, and practical advice for those holding these currencies. If you've been waiting for clear signs of movement in the RV timeline, this could be the moment you've been anticipating. Banking giants quietly prepare behind the scenes. One of the most significant pieces of recent chatter involves the role of Wells Fargo, a financial institution known for its prominence and trusted reputation. According to unverified but widely circulated sources within private finance circles, Wells Fargo may be preparing for the revaluation of both the IQD and VND. Though no official public confirmation has come from the bank, multiple reports suggest internal preparations are underway. These rumored steps include training currency exchange specialists, upgrading secure banking infrastructure, preparing platforms for handling large foreign currency conversions. Such moves, if verified, would be major indicators that the banking sector is preparing to accommodate sudden changes in currency valuations. The idea that a respected institution like Wells Fargo is positioning itself in this way has sparked serious interest across the speculative investment world. Even more intriguing, similar whispers are now circulating about other financial giants, including Chase, HSBC, and Citibank. The buzz suggests that these major players could be aligning with a larger coordinated plan, possibly connected to a broader monetary restructuring on an international level. Renewed economic confidence in Iraq and Vietnam. While banking speculation is compelling, what makes these rumors more credible is the backdrop of actual economic progress in both Iraq and Vietnam. Iraq's financial transformation. Iraq has made considerable efforts in recent years to stabilize its economy and rebuild global trust. The Central Bank of Iraq, CBI, has implemented policies to strengthen the dinar, support financial transparency, and maintain tight control over inflation and black market currency flows. Iraq's foreign reserves now reportedly exceed $100 billion, reflecting a robust financial position. Additionally, Iraq continues to form partnerships with major international oil companies, expanding its reach in the global energy market. These partnerships bring in foreign capital, create jobs, and enhance GDP growth, critical steps for a nation seeking international monetary legitimacy. Vietnam's economic resurgence. Meanwhile, Vietnam has been experiencing its own economic boom. A rising manufacturing power in Southeast Asia, Vietnam has benefited from trade partnerships with the US, EU, and other global players. The country's focus on infrastructure upgrades, supply chain development, and the implementation of modern digital banking systems makes it a strong candidate for currency reform. Vietnam's integration into global markets and its shift away from reliance on traditional economic structures underscores its readiness for broader financial recognition. These structural improvements increase investor confidence and may support long-awaited upward movement in the VND's value. Experts are aligning. Could this be the moment? Respected analysts in the currency revaluation space have recently begun to align in their messaging, something that hasn't happened often in the past. Notable voices like Mark Z, Frank 26, and others have dedicated years to researching the potential of the IQD and VND. Frank 26 has emphasized that Wells Fargo's possible involvement may not be an isolated move, but rather part of a global financial reset strategy. This larger movement could entail the realignment of currency values across multiple nations to balance international economic disparities. Mark Z, known for his detailed financial digests, recently pointed to unconfirmed sightings of possible exchange rates, such as $4 per IQD and $0.89 per VND, appearing on internal financial tools and early access platforms. While such numbers are purely speculative at this stage, their emergence has reignited excitement. Both experts agree that the historical delays in revaluation weren't due to lack of interest, but rather the complexity of modernizing global financial systems. Now it appears those systems are ready, with the proper technology, security protocols, and infrastructure in place to support a smooth transition. Signs in the system. Revaluation, readiness indicators. Several recent indicators point to systemic preparation for a potential revaluation. Reactivation of IQD and VND currency codes on trading platforms. Increased currency training within major banks. Technical synchronization across global banking systems. Strategic media silence, suggesting that preparations are happening out of the public eye, possibly under NDA non-disclosure agreement conditions. Financial systems rarely make sweeping infrastructure upgrades without purpose. When banks enhance systems for high-value foreign currency transactions, it typically signals that major activity is expected. Why a revaluation could reshape the global economy. If either or both the IQD and VND were to see a substantial increase in value, the effects would ripple far beyond individual investors. Let's break down what such a shift might mean on a global scale. For Iraq and Vietnam, a stronger currency means greater purchasing power for local citizens, increased foreign investment due to new economic stability, accelerated development, including infrastructure and education, improved political influence in their respective regions. Globally, possible weakening of the US dollar's dominance, especially if other undervalued currencies also revalue. More equitable distribution of economic power among developing nations. Realignment of trade relationships as Vietnam and Iraq become more economically competitive. The potential rise of Vietnam and Iraq as financial powerhouses in their regions could alter the balance of global economic influence, shifting attention away from over-concentrated markets like China and the US, challenges that still lie ahead. While optimism is building, it's important to acknowledge the hurdles that remain before a full revaluation could be realized. 1. Political stability. Both Iraq and Vietnam must continue to demonstrate consistent governance. Political instability, corruption, or leadership changes could delay progress and shake investor confidence. 2. Inflation control. A sudden jump in currency value could trigger inflationary pressures. Without careful planning and international oversight, this could destabilize the very economies the RV is meant to strengthen. 3. Regulatory approval. Global financial institutions like the IMF and WTO will be closely monitoring any changes. They will demand transparency, responsible implementation, and adherence to international standards before endorsing a revaluation. What should currency holders do now? If you're currently holding IQD or VND or considering entering the space, here are a few practical steps you can take to be prepared. 1. Stay informed. Follow credible analysts and official sources. Avoid hype and unverified information. Understanding the true indicators of progress is key. 2. Secure your currency. Make sure your currency is stored safely, whether in a secured vault, trusted bank, or physical safe. Keep documentation in order. 3. Build relationships with reputable banks. Consider opening accounts with institutions rumored to be involved in the revaluation process, such as Wells Fargo, HSBC, Chase, or Citibank. Watch for official announcements. Pay attention to news from the Central Bank of Iraq, State Bank of Vietnam, and major global institutions. A public statement or policy shift will likely precede any exchange changes. 5. Stay patient, but ready. While the signals are encouraging, large-scale economic shifts like this take time. Being informed and ready is better than rushing into premature actions. What comes next? The watch list for currency investors. To track the progress of a possible revaluation, keep an eye on live currency charts for unexpected movements, banking system updates or public training announcements, speeches or press releases from national financial leaders, international financial summits, where policy changes may be discussed or revealed. These are often the platforms where major developments are hinted at, or outright confirmed, before they reach mainstream media. Conclusion: the road to revaluation looks clearer than ever. The possibility of an IQD and VND revaluation is no longer just hopeful chatter. It's becoming a serious financial discussion backed by growing evidence. With rumored movements within respected institutions like Wells Fargo, consistent economic progress in Iraq and Vietnam, and increasing alignment from expert analysts, the revaluation story appears more realistic than ever. This could mark the beginning of a historic financial realignment, one that validates the belief and patience of those who saw the potential in these two nations' currencies long ago. Whether you're already invested or considering it now,